Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to my channel. Today we'll be ranking all the reserves in the Hunter Call of the Wild. Before we do so, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and hit the notifications. Now let's get into the video. I think we can all agree that Hirschfelden is one of the worst hunting reserves in the Hunter Call of the Wild. Partially because there's so much brush and it makes so much noise as you're trying to hunt. For someone like me who loves to run and gun, I can't do that if the animals can hear me and see me before I get a chance to see them. So this is really annoying for that reason, because they always spook off. And now, because Reventuli has been released, it's not even good for Canada goose. And it really has no great animals. Maybe you could argue fallow deer, but many other maps have that now, such as Teora and others. I'm personally hoping in the future that some other maps can get that too. And the final thing is its landscape is somewhat repetitive. You have the same brushy forest throughout the entire map, with occasional lakes that barely give you some good red deer hunting and bison hunting.
I saw some tracks
So that's
in
my
that area
take
earlier
on
this morning.
Hirschfelden.
Hold on, I'll send the coordinates.
Now the next map, Mississippi Acres. I feel like this is a type of map that you either love or hate, no in between. And for me, I kind of hate it. Don't get me wrong, it's a really cool map, but the gators are super hard to kill. It's really brushy, just like Hirschfelden. And other than the gators, it's kind of average, with open fields and dense forests, which can make for some fun whitetail hunting, but there's just better hunting for every single animal on the map, other than the obvious such as gators and raccoons, and probably there's some others I'm missing. But don't get me wrong, it's a good map, it's just not for me. And plus, when I started with the map, my account just got restarted, and I only had the base guns, and this made it even harder to kill the gators. It's also partially because I have a really bad shot. But still, these are the reasons why Mississippi Acres is just not my favorite. Now we're getting onto the maps that I don't hate, I don't love, but they're pretty okay, such as Medved Taiga. Medved Taiga is honestly that map that when you're feeling tired from other maps, get a little bit burnt out, you can play this one and it's kind of refreshing. It's nice like that. However, it is kind of a frozen wasteland, but it still has some cool animals, like moose and Siberian musk deer and lynx. And those animals are personally some of my favorites to hunt. However, when they made the new need zones, it somewhat changed my map, and I think most others. It messed up lots of my zones, and I struggled finding other animals. Plus, with this map, lots of the parts are unhuntable, with lots of the frozen ice, having moose sometimes, and then other days, they just don't. So this is why this map is so low. I'm going to make a video soon on how every map and DLC can improve, so stay tuned for that. Kind of like Medved Taiga, Rancho del Oriole really isn't my favorite map, but I don't hate it. It's good for whitetail, but pretty much nothing else, unless you're a hardcore bobcat killing fan, which I personally am just not. And it has some cool lakes that you can hunt, lots actually, and some really cool spots. Mule deer, whitetail hunting, all that is really fun to do. However, other than the lakes, there really is no nice places to hunt. For me, a good map has more than just lakes that you can hunt at, because that can start to feel repetitive and boring, and that's what I've noticed with Rancho. But definitely, it's great for a whitetail grind and a great one grind, but I'm not onto that yet. So personally, I have no great use for it until later, on which then I'll do a whitetail grind. But I'm personally hoping I find a diamond or even a great one whitetail on a different map before then, because Rancho just gets repetitive and boring for me. So yeah, that's what I think about Rancho. On to the next map. Now we're getting onto the maps that I actually don't dislike or hate at all. I think they're good maps, but there's some better maps before them, such as Parque Fernando. It's a really cool map. I like the coastline hunting and the lake hunting. There are so many different cool species. that I really just love to hunt on it. But the thing is, with the lakes hunting, it sometimes does get repetitive. Like I said, all great maps have to have more than just lake hunting. So that's why I feel that some of the species, even though they're new, I feel like I'd prefer some more cool species and some waterfowl. However, I gotta say, this is the first map that we actually had a large predator cat on, I believe, and that was the puma or mountain lion. So yeah, this is Parque Fernando, on to the next map. I think we're in my top 5 favorite maps now, starting with number 5, Virhonga Savannah. This is a really cool map with the lakes and the coastline to hunt, just like Parque Fernando. But it has more to hunt than just that. You can also hunt out in the desert, which at first doesn't sound as fun, but once you do it, setting up an outpost and just waiting with some collars can be so fun if you do it right. Now it has some cool animals, like Gemsbuck are one of my personal favorites, and was my second ever diamond. But, like I said, it really only has 3 places you can hunt, so it can get repetitive. Great maps, they have like 4 or 5 different types of like spots and ways you can hunt. And I'd love to see some waterfowl on this map. This would elevate it so much. So this is what I think we can do with Virhonga Savannah and why it's only at number 5. I think Layton Lakes all holds a special part in our hearts just because it's so original. It's a great original map. It has so many cool animals, but the sad thing is, because it was released so early and it was like the first or second map ever, the thing is it gets a little bit boring. As someone who wasn't able to get DLCs for like most of the time playing the Hunter Call of the Wild, don't worry, I have them all now. It honestly got kind of boring to play, either playing that, Medved, maybe Virhonga, or the dreaded Hirschfelden. So that's why I played Layton a lot. And with it being one of the first maps, lots of the animals on it gets reused on other maps, which, because they're newer, are just more interesting. But still, because it's a great original map and it has one of my favorite animals, Roosevelt elk, I still love to come back to it and play it, and I do plan to do my dreaded whitetail grind on it soon. Now Teawara, this is my number 3 favorite map, partially because it has amazing fallow deer hunting, amazing red deer hunting, amazing feral goat hunting, which are all some of my favorite animals. Plus, I love the tropical feel and vibe to it. It just makes me feel so, like I'm on a refreshing vacation in the tropics. It's also an amazing map. It has such cool detail. You can hunt the big river, the beaches, in the mountains, in the forest. The possibilities are honestly endless. And this is why it's one of my favorite maps. It could be better if it had some waterfowl species and maybe a couple more smaller species and one like class 9 species. I don't know what that would look like, but it would be really cool to add a little bit more variety than a lot of like class 3, 4, and 5 like deer and medium mammal species. So that's what I think. Still a really great map though. Cuatro Colinas. Honestly, it's in the top 4 for a really good reason. I plan to do my Great One Red Deer grind on this, and it's insanely good for money if you go roe deer hunting and boar hunting right in the early morning around 6. Going into the fields, waiting on a haystack, or even just exploring the sunflower, lavender, and wheat fields looking for those animals can be so fun and profitable. That's why I really like this map. It has a big river that winds right through, which is really fun to chase all the way along. Lots of lakes too that you can hunt in. Honestly, I have nothing bad to say about this map. The one thing I'd like to see is maybe some more waterfowl and a couple more cool species, but other than that, it's pretty good. Oh, one more thing. The ibex actually get pretty repetitive. There's 4 different types of ibex, and they're all pretty similar. But other than those things, it's still a good map. Now, second up, Silver Ridge Peaks. Honestly, this is so close to my heart because I finally got a diamond black bear off of this map after months of grinding. No great one yet, but that's for a future video. Honestly, it has so many cool animals, from the puma to the mountain goat, all the way down to the bison. Honestly, and it has great grinding opportunities, such as, like I said, the black bear, the mule deer, the bison. So many cool animals to kill. Now honestly, if you're like me, you like to run and gun, find tons of animals, it's a great map just to find an animal, shoot, get it, and go. Honestly, with this map, I think you're supposed to hunt the feed zones, not the drink zones. The drink zones are honestly pretty small and little, while the feed zones always tend to be bigger. With lots of open fields and long mountains with no trees in sight, you can honestly hunt a lot of these open areas during their feed zones, which I love. Feed zones and drink zone hunting opportunities mean I don't have to reset the time every time I need to hunt. Revon-Tule Coast. Honestly, this is in the number 2 position for a very good reason. It's so big, has so many different opportunities to hunt, such as in the open Rocky Mountains. I guess not Rocky Mountains like looking on a map, but the mountains are pretty rocky. Down by the coastline, on an island, in the lakes, in the deep forests, or honestly just in grassy meadows. It's so cool to have so many great opportunities to hunt. And I believe it has 19 different types of species. That includes mostly waterfowl, which I'm still really loving, and it has some still big species, such as the brown bear. Honestly, the waterfowl are so fun to hunt for. As someone who's never really hunted for waterfowl in the Hunter before this, I guess if you don't include Canada geese, I really like hunting on this map, and it's so fun and honestly kind of easy and great for money. Now my number 1 favorite map, Yukon Valley. Yukon Valley is just the perfect mixture of big animals, small animals, unique animals, waterfowl, and a great map. It has honestly all my favorite animals on it, like moose, bison, caribou, and wolves. And honestly, I love the Alaskan feel. The big river with the gravel, and it's not too deep so you can easily cross it. I love the forest. I love the burnt land. I love, honestly, the redlands. It's so cool and it has an amazing feel. And this is why I had to put it at number 1. Thanks for watching my video. I really honestly appreciate it. Please, if you can, subscribe, hit that like button, hit those notifications, and I'll see you in another video.